I want to introduce you all to our guest today, who is the 2022 president of Orange County Realtors, Adam Rodell. And we're going to talk all about Adam and all about all things, local, maybe a little bit of state, a little bit of national, even a lot local, that Adam's going to be doing for you all. So first of all, Adam, welcome and thank you for being here with us today.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning to our listeners and those on the call today. It's great to be here. Thanks.
So I want to say it was probably, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen you too, like maybe a decade, but it's been about 10 years since I first saw you at a workshop that I was holding someplace. And I don't know if you remember that or not, but I'm super good with faces and names.
I do. I remember distinctly, Dan. You know, I think it was maybe a Rexpo or some event that was occurring, and you were offering a complimentary workshop to come to. And you know, that's really not my thing. Christine, my wife, she's into those kinds of things. She's done the Tony Robbins fire walk, the leap of faith, all that good stuff. And so when you offered to have people come into a workshop, she was like, "We're going, honey." And so I did, and I don't remember all the 7 W's, but I tell you what, I remember enough of them that I can't tell you how many listings I've gotten just off of the brief workshop that I did with you.
That's
again,
interesting. That's so
I'm not
funny.
that kind of guy.
That's funny though. I actually did the 7 W's this morning with an agent, just kind of randomly that you say that. Just kind of, they called me up and was helping somebody out. It's so funny that you say that because it's still part of my world, but not like it used to be. All right. So president of Orange County Realtors, you've been around for a while, working your way up to that. I know that you've got a whole world to make sure that when you get there, you're ready to do it. But let's just talk a little bit about you and your history. One for me, guys and gals who are watching this, in case you don't know, I don't do prep calls. So like I show up to this like 8 minutes before we're ready to go on. I don't send Adam a list of questions. We don't prepare for it. I'm just like, let's just go. Makes it more authentic. So, and like I said, it's probably been a decade since I've seen Adam at one of my events. So for me and for everybody else, let's just talk about who you are. Tell us about your business, how long you've been doing it, just all that fun stuff about you in the world of real estate, and how you got involved at the leadership level of the association, kind of segueing into that.
Sure. You know, I met a lady at 7-Eleven and she got me into the real estate business. It was that simple.
Really?
You know, yeah, good looking lady driving a brand new white Mercedes. And I was like, I got to do that. What do you do? And,
was it the one next door to the current association? I know there's a 7-Eleven there.
No,
okay.
No. But yeah, but no, I've been in the business now for a little over 23 years. And, you know, I'm a boots on the ground practitioner. That's really what I do. So we have a geographic farm. We work hard. We've been serving, our community from day one. And I was mentored by a gentleman who preceded me in this particular neighborhood, this area of Huntington Beach, which is where we're based out of. And we've carried on in his traditions. And so, between Christine and I and my mentor, we've probably been working our neighborhoods for maybe 40, 45 years consecutively. So, we're the old-fashioned kind of realtors, So,
all right. So still in production, still doing down and dirty in the trenches work.
Correct. Still very active. The involvement with the association started in 2010. I used to attend, or I still actually do attend our weekly marketing meetings. And somebody had come up, Bill Cuppy. Some of you on the call may be familiar with Bill. He's been a longtime agent here in this area as well. And he asked me to be his vice chair for local government relations north. And I had no idea what that was. But so I turned and I looked over to a lady who I respect immensely, Terry Miles, who I know many of you will know. And, I looked over at Terry and she goes, you'll do good at this. And that's all I needed to hear, a little conviction from somebody who knew a little bit more than I did. So that's kind of where that journey started.
That was in 10, you said, right? So 11 years ago now, coming up on 11, 12 years in that range that you've been involved in the leadership service section of our world.
Correct. Right.
It's unique.
Right.
It's unique to find agents like yourself who are all agents who take on the leadership roles are still in production, I guess would be my word, but maybe not as entrenched in the day-to-day as you guys still are. I feel like sometimes the executives or the leadership people on different roles might not be like still grinding the 40, 50, 60 hour weeks that a lot of real estate agents find them doing. But it feels to me like you are. You know, I went and looked at some stuff. You're still like, you fully have like multiple jobs. It's not like 2 part-time jobs. You have full-time jobs across the board with real estate and leadership.
Yeah, Dan, I appreciate your acknowledgement and awareness of that. You know, we do, you know, we have different types of individuals that serve at the association, and quite frankly, I think anybody that serves, deserves kudos. You know, some people may be more in their sunset years, and this is how they can stay relevant and give back. And you know, there are others that are still, you know, as you said, grinding it out. And you know, we're not ready to stop working yet. There's just too much business to be had, and we've worked too hard to get to this place. And you know, I love being a realtor first. I really do, because I think we can relate to the membership in a unique way and give back in a unique way. So I hope that during this brief period where I get to serve our association in this capacity, that I can help other folks who may just be strictly on the real estate side of this to kind of cross over a little bit, broaden the horizon a little bit, maybe get involved with the association a little bit. And ultimately, this will help you grow your business.
That's something I want to talk about. I kind of got my list of questions because anybody who's watching any of my Zooms before knows that I'm full like squirrel mode. So I have my questions written down, like stay on track. And so one of the questions is, how does one get involved and the rewards for doing so? We'll get into that in just a little bit. As a agent, when I was selling, I was actually never involved in the leadership role. I was never involved in either the local, state, national, any kind of role like that. I was just in the trenches. And so for me, it's always very interesting and enlightening to it's like seeing the other side that I never experienced, and what could have come from it. So that's definitely, we're going to get into that in just a little bit too. So 2022, you might have pulled the good straw on this one and not gotten a 2020 or 2021 years when we were still lockdown, not lockdown, right? And back and forth. We had like an Omicron scare that lasted 4 days, it feels like right now. But it feels like 2022, you're in a good spot. Like you're president, you're leading, and we might be in a 90% opened up world, right? So let's talk about that. What are you seeing in 2022? Let's just talk about some of the things that you're envisioning for the association, for the realtor members, and how that's going to be different than the last couple of years.
So it's a great question. And I don't think that we have the answer yet. You know, I want to really take my hat off to Danielle Corliss and Lori Namazi, our 2 past presidents, for transitioning from what we're completely accustomed to a completely new universe. And both of our presidents and the staff here at Orange County Realtors did a phenomenal job. It was almost a seamless transition over to the virtual world and, you know, this Zoom world that we're in. I think going forward, this is going to be an interesting, it's almost like a science experiment, because I think we've all found the benefits of being in a virtual world. I was talking to somebody before, and it was the amount of time that we can contribute to our business actually is, we're more productive, right? We can probably get more done if we didn't have travel time and some of that stuff going on. So my answer to that is I think that this is an experiment that we're going to have to see how it turns out, whether people really do want to get back into the live setting. They don't like people, but because of the convenience of this Zoom world, we're going to have to figure that one out. We still have some things.
It's going to and I feel like no one knows, but I feel like it's going to be a hybrid, right? Like I think marketing meetings starting back up, and it's been a struggle because some people haven't necessarily realized they've started back up, and getting attendance back, from what I understand, has been a little bit tougher. But they're also like, it's one of those.
But Dan, not to interrupt, but I mean, you know, our low inventory levels are going to contribute to
that helps too.
Some of this lack of attendance.
But I also feel like that's one of those things that people want to get back to. right? Maybe not having to drive an hour to hear Dan. Maybe that's something they don't want to get back to, right? But I feel like the marketing meetings would be a good example potentially of a hybrid where like that's like an in-person thing that we probably want to keep going and continue, and hopefully inventory eases next year and we get some more opportunities versus a Zoom with Dan being something that would be like a hybrid, like we can do both, right?
Yeah, I think CAR and NAR have both done a great job at creating a true hybrid platform. Again, there's still tweaks that need to be done, and they're working on it. But you know, at the association level, particularly for smaller associations, I mean, we're so blessed with what we have and the resources that we have. You know, that I'm sure we'll be on the cutting edge of creating true hybrid capability if that's the direction that we end up going in. But you know, at NAR and CAR, it's been comfortable to be on the screen and yet knowing that there was a room out there where people were at. And it's also been comfortable to be in the room like we were at CAR here in Anaheim and NAR last month in San Diego. You know, I'm in the live setting, but you know, you've got the Zoom world that's participating with you as well, and they're working out the kinks pretty well. So
yeah, I think so. It's going to be an interesting year. So I think. And again, Danielle and Lori, over the years, I've interviewed them both, right? Mm-hmm. And they found themselves, it got easier. Lori had a little bit better, you have a little bit better, I think, maybe than Lori did, or Danielle. And then, man, that first year though, right, when we were having to transition out, and people were like, couldn't teach people to hit the mute button on their Zoom, and people couldn't figure out how to get in. Like, I think we have evolved a lot, and trust me, I was speaking nationwide at the very beginning. OCR was top 3 in the entire country for getting ahead of the curve and getting content out and getting things fixed and getting lockers and getting resources made to their agents out of the gate. So those guys did a phenomenal job of transitioning. I'm interested now to see, like, wow, where does a hybrid go to? I think that's gonna be really exciting for you. Let's talk about the local level. You as the president, what's on tap? What do you have planned? What's gonna stop? What's gonna continue? What are you gonna start? I know it's a wide open question, but let's kind of get into that.
Well, we're begin in January with our leadership summit, where our board of directors and our committee chairs will get together for a day and a half. We've got some speakers coming in. We've got one coming in virtually. We'll do a little bit of team building. We'll have a nice dinner and kind of get to know each other. You know, I'm not going to be able to reinvent the wheel, because I don't think the wheel needs to be reinvented here. We have a really great business, led by Dave Stefanides and his staff. These people know what they're doing. You know, I'm here just to help be a part of the process. And there's a couple of things that I just want to make sure that we continue to move the needle forward on. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is a conversation that is happening at different paces and different levels within the different associations across the country. And I want to make sure that we stay fully engaged in that. We've got some folks, Lori Namazi is really active. We've got Lisa Dunn here at the association, who's doing a tremendous job. So I want to make sure that we can do whatever we can to support that particular conversation. Orange County Realtors is blessed to have a leadership academy. This has been, I stand back and I look at the room at our installation last week, and this leadership academy has brought a lot of great talent to the forefront as far as to the service side of the association, like you were mentioning, Dan, and a lot of the people who are now at our committees and chairs and even board of directors have come directly as a result of the leadership academy. So I want to make sure that we keep that program as forward as best we can too. That's a lot of work. That's a tough program to keep moving.
I've heard that is. Let's just do a quick recap for those watching in case they don't know about things. I'll start with one. And from there, let's talk about that. And then you can mention a few others, as you mentioned, about just continuing things. One of them is the RAW program, which is relatively new. I want to say 2 years, maybe now.
3 years.
This has been going.
Yeah.
3 years. Okay. 2 or 3 years it's been going. So let's talk about the RAW program and what that is and why it exists and how maybe somebody could get involved.
Sure. Many people are starting to hear about this. The RAW group stands for Realtor and Affiliate Wellness Group. And I don't want to take too much credit here because there's been some people that have been instrumental in helping me to get this thing off the ground. But of course, these people, I respect their anonymity. And so we keep things private in this setting. But we just know that this is a tough business that we're in. And I've known this. I don't think it's a secret that, there's a lot of different challenges that as agents and affiliates that we're faced with on a daily basis. And there was a burning inside me to be able to create a safe place, a place where our agents and affiliates wouldn't be judged and they could come into an environment, into a room and feel safe and talk about those things that are going on in their lives. Some of them are work related, some of them are personal related. There's no exclusion as to what can be talked about at the RAW group. So we actually just completed our third year yesterday. So we meet once per month. It's
our meetings,
exciting.
Meetings I know were in person in the beginning. I know they went to Zoom. Are they now person, Zoom, or hybrid?
No, we're still on the Zoom format.
Okay.
And actually, we did a little bit of a straw poll yesterday to see how people would feel about going back to the live setting. There's nothing better than being in a live room and just being with your colleagues. I mean, I don't think there's any question. But again, that convenience of being able to log on and then move on with your day after your meeting is valuable too. So I'm not quite sure how it'll go. I think what we will try to do once we're able to go live is maybe do a live meeting. And then a Zoom meeting, and then a live meeting.
Flip-flop them month and month. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
What other programs are out there that you guys, the Leadership Academy, RAW, what else is going on that's already been put in place for you, and you just want to make sure that you continue the path that's been set, that the association has going?
I think the shining light for our association is our education, leadership and development. All of the content that goes forward for members of this association is incredible. I don't think there is an association that offers more content to its membership. And I mean, Dan, we get top of the line speakers. We've got just incredible ambassadors really for all different areas of the real estate practice. And so
okay.
I don't want to get in the way of what these guys are doing best, right? My time is short as president, and one of the things I'm going to do is make sure I stay out of the way and don't put a cog in the wheel there.
All right. I wrote this down, and then with like an LOL next to it. This was my opportunity on December the 8th to remind everybody that you have approximately 22 days left, 23 days left. Go complete your ethics course, please. Like I'm yelling it from mountains. I was like, "Ooh, I have an audience, and it's going to be recorded, and it's going to be on Facebook Live. I'm going to say it again, so nobody gets jammed up on January 2nd. Go complete your ethics, please, in the next 22 or so days." They've been offering a lot of OCR. You guys are like, it's like lights out how many opportunities people have to do this, and maybe just keep putting it off. So please, everybody, do that. It's an important thing. That's kind of mandatory. And there we go. They just put it in it's in the chat, the link of how to do that. So please remember to do that. I know that everybody gets busy, and that kind of, from what I've heard from people, they keep pushing it away and keep forgetting, and we're running out of time to do that anymore. How about this? This isn't really a you issue, but it is interesting from a leadership perspective. We'll talk a little bit about CAR and NAR in a little bit. I didn't go to CAR, but I was in San Diego on and off for a few sessions here and there too for NAR. But what about the new RPA, my man? Like, that's going to be fun, isn't it? For everybody who's watching, it doesn't really have anything like this is not Adam's cup of tea, right? But we do have a new RPA that's going to be rolling out that I feel that the association and the CRMLS is going to get like all kinds of heat about, even though it's not your deal, because people are confused by it, not prepared for it, not understanding it. And you guys have been, I know that you've got some future training set up and stuff on it, but I think that's going to be a real interesting part of 2022 in California real estate, at least the first quarter. right?
I agree. I agree. You know, change is tough, right? It's been 21 years since the last RPA was ultimately, you know, redrafted, if you will, in a major way. You know, imagine some of those agents that are still out there in the grind, you know, that were doing business on handshakes and napkins. So this is, you know, these forms are getting longer and more detailed. I definitely think I see a couple little gaps and gaffes in the forms, but they'll tweak it. They'll tweak it. But you know, we get used to it. You just have to get out there and write a few of these things. The scary part for me, and I know it's going to be scary for everybody else on this call that's working with buyers, is you know, these homes hit the market and you got to be really quick, right? You got to get your client out there. You got to get your offer in because these houses are disappearing in 3 and 4 days, and so we're all going to be looking at a brand new form, you know, and under the gun to try to get this thing completed, filled out the right way, and get it over to the listing agent quickly. So just
and everybody who's
make
been
sure you
around
attend the
since,
classes.
yeah, attend the classes, right? I mean, you guys are offering that resource. You mentioned again, education. This is, for me, one of the most important educational pieces they can be doing right now. I mean, essentially our entire livelihoods, not me, but you get it, the industry is built around writing these contracts, either reading them, being on the receiving end, or writing them, being on the sending end. And for those of you who aren't aware, it's now 6 pages longer. I got to sit at NAR with one of the 4 people who was helping write it and have dinner. 2 paragraphs are the same. So it's not just like, you know, the old tweaks, like, oh, this is version 20 versus version 18, and there's a new paragraph here, or a new liquidated damages box here or something. It's like fundamentally different. It's great. Like, I've seen it, I've been through it, I really understand it. Just, I wanted to do that right. It's a great contract, and it is better, in my opinion, significantly better, but man, it's just new. And it's so weird for those of us who've been looking at contracts for 21 years, right? So please attend those educational events, because I think it's going to be very important.
It might be easier for listing agents too.
Yes.
Yeah, as listing agents, we you know, these contracts will probably be a big help. And I think that's part of what was behind the genesis of this, was trying to get to the meat of the information in a different way, so that we could really size up these offers. So
it's
in
right
a cold
there.
market, it'll be a little different.
It's really cool. Yeah, you guys, I know everyone's going to hate it in the beginning, just like everyone hated the MLS going to the computer and they loved their pink books. Like, I was around for the pink books. And you know, but after we got used to the computer, we're like, this is so much better than the pink books. So yeah, I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be great contract, but please guys, take the time to go learn it. Again, the association has put out so much content, and they're doing classes and they're teaching. There was 700 who attended a webinar yesterday, which is great. We got to get about 20,000 on board.
Dan, I heard you were struggling with giving up the dot matrix printer.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I didn't even want to give up the Rolodex, man. CRM, what? But you know, got to stay with the chain. You got to stay with the times, right? Let's talk about state or national level, because you get to attend some of those things, right? And you're obviously not like, you know, the person whose final signature in John Hancock counts, but you get to attend the CAR meetings, the NAR meetings, hear the votes, hear what went down. What's going on there that you're just paying attention to, or you don't think maybe enough agents are paying attention to or know about? Anything that you can share on those levels?
You know, I'm relatively new at CAR as a director, so I do actually have voting privileges both at the state and national level. I am one of the guys that does get the opportunity and the privilege to vote. You know, at the state level, these are robust meetings. I mean, we have a lot of different meetings on a lot of different subjects in this industry, and then, you know, at the end of these meetings, we have a board of directors session, and you know, this is where the votes take place. You know, we've had different you know, bills come through over the last few years, from Proposition 5 and 10 back in 2018. We had Proposition 19 that recently passed, which, you know, again has some challenges to it, as some are starting to realize now. And then at the national level too, I mean, there's robust conversations going on regarding some of the some of the news that's going on at NAR level, which, again, I won't get into too much. I mean, this is my first year as an NAR director, so there's a lot to take in. But I'll tell you what, the meetings themselves were really, really exciting. We had a great time, and just the level of the operation at that national level is really incredible. Like I said, for anybody who's thinking about maybe just venturing a little bit into this arena, you guys will have a lot of fun if you give it a shot.
There's a whole other world. Like, fortunately for all of you, I am not a voting member, but I do get to sometimes attend some things just because I'm there for meetings, and it is a totally different world of like understanding what is happening out there and what things are coming down the pipe and what decisions are being made and what the world of real estate outside of our little like Orange County, my little demographic farm, my little sphere of influence bubble is happening, right? It really is. Let's talk a little bit about that. One, how would people get more involved? I'm going to go with a couple of things, and I won't ask them all at once. So one, how would people get more involved in the service level? Because you don't just get to come in and be like, I want to go to Washington for the mid-years. Right? But you get involved at a local level, and then as you learn and grow, you start taking further steps. So how would one get involved, first of all?
I think that the quickest way would be, first and foremost, apply for Leadership Academy. The Leadership Academy at our association would be one direct route into being exposed to I don't want to say the politics, because I think that's sort of the wrong term, but ultimately call it the real world side of our business. You're right, Dan. We're in this little bubble here. We're farming. We're working with our buyers. We're doing what we know, but there's this other side, and I think that in Leadership Academy that they get exposed to that side of this business in a great way. And I think that would be fantastic. Again, it's limited enrollment there. I mean, I don't know how big the academy will be this year, maybe 20 members. Maybe
you guys could, somebody posted it earlier. If you wouldn't mind reposting it, Cassie or whoever that was. I don't remember. I can scroll up to it, but if you just repost the link again for the application, that'd be fantastic.
That is truthfully a fantastic experience. I personally haven't gone through it because it wasn't there when I was going through the ranks. It's only maybe 3 or 4 years new.
I was gonna say 3 or 4, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the pandemic kind of set it back for a year, but anyways, that's a great way. Again, local government relations, Drissy at our association. She's putting together great content, great speakers. It's important for agents to try to attend both the local government relations North and South meetings, because these are the meetings where we get the local assembly people and local senators, Congress, and representatives that will talk about the bills that are going on and the things that are going on behind the scenes that are coming up. And this is what your neighbors want to know about. This is how you. Honestly, this is how you get the edge over your competition, is to be educated.
So let's talk about the next part of service then, because unlike like government service at the congressional or Senate or legislative or executive branch, when you stop doing it, you don't get to write a memoir for hundreds of millions of dollars. This is not a well-paying gig for you at all to do it. This is truly service, right?
True.
That you are offering and you are giving as a give back to everybody. But there are some intrinsic values there. So let's talk a little bit about those. Over the years, as you've gotten more involved in leadership, has it done anything to your business? Have you seen it shaped or molded or tweaked at all?
Yeah, aside from, again, helping me to be a point of reference for people within, both my social, geographic, and farms. I mean, people will call, reach out, hey, Adam, I heard about this, or whether it be at a city level or maybe at the state level, they want to have a conversation. They want to talk. I mean, I'm ears. I'm here to listen, and I'm here to try to get information back to them when I can. The other aspect of this too, which I can't emphasize enough, is we're a family, agents and affiliates, and it's other agents we can connect better. I mean, everything from being in multiple offers and having, some form of comfort and familiarity with the agents that you're working with and who are submitting offers on your listings, or maybe it's my buyer putting an offer in on one of your listings. That relationship goes a long way. I think that we can earn respect when we're a part of the system.
That's interesting. So a lot of the years when I was selling, I was up in Big Bear, and one of my mentors once told me that it was a little bit different selling in Big Bear. Now, mind you, this was in the dinosaur age, also in like 2004 or 2 or something. But said it's a little bit different selling in Big Bear because there's such a small group of us. There's only 300 agents, and 300 agents will control every transaction that's done. And so you have to work with that agent, not only on this deal, but on another deal in a couple months and another deal in a couple years. And they're going to be in your circle forever. And he says it's a little bit different down in Orange County in that because the association was bigger, you weren't necessarily always doing a transaction again with the same person because the scope was so limited. And because of that, there wasn't as much camaraderie. There wasn't as much maybe respect given. And it's just an offshoot, right? It wasn't intentional, but it's like, probably never going to do another transaction with this agent again. And so when you have that in your head, you might not be as professional as you should have been. You might not be as respectful as you should have been. It was kind of his theory. And I always, in Big Bear, I wasn't really sure I bought into it. And then when I came down here, I've kind of experienced it. It's a little bit different than it's almost like if you're always doing a transaction with somebody who's in your office, right? If you're always doing a transaction with somebody who's actually in your office, it's a little bit different than doing one with somebody who's in an office across the street or down the street. Because you're going to sit next to them the next day, or they're always going to be around. And I think one of the things that would be great if we as an industry could get better at, and National's trying to do some stuff on this lines with clerk cooperation and whatever, but just a higher level of professionalism, higher level of respect, higher level of communication with each other. Like that would correct 99% of what we might want to change about this industry, right? If we could just have that and we get busy, and so sometimes we forget to reach out to people. But I thought that was always an interesting analogy. It's like if you had to sit next to them every day, it might be a little bit of different transaction than you don't. And so I think in this digital world we live in now, that would be like a goal that I would like aspire to see between our agents.
Agreed, Dan. Yeah, I mean, Christine, when I got into this business, I mentioned this at my installation. There was kind of two ethos that she sort of ingrained in me when I first got into this business, when she brought me in. And the first one is that we would be honest in all of our dealings. Our slogan, our client's interest comes first always. That's just the way we run our business. That's the way we treat our colleagues. I see mistakes on offer sheets. I see boxes that aren't checked. I'll call the agent up and I'll say, hey, this box isn't checked. Let's get some clarity on who's supposed to pay for what. I see it the other way, right? You miss a box, somebody's going to say, hey, that's your bad. You didn't do your job right. And guess what? My seller's not going to pay for that termite because you didn't ask for it. I want to go the extra mile to make sure that we're doing things the right way. The other thing that we don't do is we don't talk bad about our colleagues in this business. It's so easy to do because some of our colleagues in this business aren't doing business quite that way, but it doesn't get you anywhere. It makes you look bad in front of potential clients, and we just try to build our colleagues up in this business. I mentioned, at open house, it's one of the best times. I love it when an agent brings in their buyer to an open house. I mean, it's an opportunity for me to say some great things and to help that agent shine. You are working with a great agent. I've had the pleasure of working with her before, and she was just fantastic to work with. Or, she's a real go-getter. He's on top of his game. He knows his market really well here. And whatever I can say to try to build the agents up. If we all just did that once in 2022, I think we'd all be surprised with how much, how much better the environment would be that we're in.
And compounding effect. You take 15,000 ones.
That's exactly what I'm saying. If each one of us did it once.
So what would you love to see if you could visualize your presidency and it's December 31st, 2022, and you're standing on a rooftop someplace in Orange County or Irvine, whatever, Honey and Bee or whatever it's called, Hive and Honey, and you're toasting with your wife about what a great year it was, and you look back and reflect on your presidency, you'd think, wow, I think it's great that the agents did X. What do you think that would be? If you had to, like, this is kind of a hard question to just like throw at you, surprise. But what would that be that you looking back that you really want to see the agents get out of your term?
I have one goal, and again, this is sort of, I don't think it's kind of an esoteric concept. I don't know that it necessarily could happen or not, but I would love to see the productivity of the agents of Orange County Realtors go up. In other words, it's a matrix. There's a metric. If we could move the needle, I don't know what the average agent production does. If we could move it from 5.2 transactions or sides per year to 5.4. I mean, something that we can measurably say that our agents are becoming more productive. And the reason why is because of the education, because of the involvement. They've taken the ethics courses. In other words, the association provides this base for their agents to improve their business model. And again, I know that there would be a lot of headwind against trying to quantitate this concept because we're so large, right? But if I looked back one thing, Dan, and I said, hey, that our average agent's business went up by 2% or some number. It doesn't matter what the number is. Just something, and it's not because the winds were at our back, and because the truth is those that work succeed in this business, and those that don't. So I would just like to see everybody's number move up just a little bit. That would be a goal.
It's a good goal because you're right. It is, and you mentioned headwinds. So we are, in my opinion, in the greatest real estate market of all time. Next sentence, and it is hardest real estate market of all time, right? I mean, it's like, how do you say both of those? But it really is, right? If you look at transaction count, we're setting records. If you look at average price, we're setting records. But man, it's so much harder than it was, even with all those records being set for the agents, right? Just because of inventory issues. There are more licensees now than before, changes in technology. You have a buyer. Average buyer is writing what? Last thing I wrote, that in California, the average buyer was submitting more than 10 offers before getting one accepted. That's hard work. It's great because you got all these buyers writing offers, but it's hard work to get them accepted. So it's really weird. We're in the greatest real estate market, yet the hardest real estate market of all time. So I think 2022, you said it, man, if you're working, you're still going to succeed, right? But it is going to be hard. It's just, it's nothing worth having comes easy. What's that saying? Something like that. That's like real estate in 2022, it seems like.
Well, and I think that we all need to try to reach out to some of the newer agents that we all know are coming into this business or who are newer agents. I mean, we have them in our office, we have them in our sphere of influence, where they're our friends, and, let's try to help them because it is a tough market. I mean, it's a very, very challenging market. Like you said, Dan, it's, I didn't know the number was 10. All I can tell you is, I work
and I don't know if that's the number. I read it.
Work for sellers, and
it's like on Forbes or Bloomberg or something. I saw it like last week.
Right? It doesn't sound unrealistic at all. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there are people out there writing 10 offers on 10 homes today alone, just because they're trying to get any one of them. I think that's actually occurring, and I think that's causing some problems, and why you're seeing, deals fall out and whatnot too. I mean, there's all kinds of conversation to be had about what goes on out there. But you're right. The funny thing is whenever the markets and prices are going up, it's kind of a common phenomenon that people will assume because you're in real estate that, you must be making a lot of money, your life must be good, or you must be loving this stuff. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of veterans, becoming pretty grizzled, with work. It's, you get a referral and it's a buyer, and you have a friend of a friend who refers you a buyer, and you want so much to be there for that person. In a normal market, you're like, woo, Now it's like, oh, I have to explain to them about the war they're about to engage in.
Yeah, it's the hunger for realtors, right?
It's tough. The pricing is difficult to understand as well.
Yep. Hey, if anybody has any questions for Adam as we start to wrap up here, please throw them in the bar. This is your chance to ask at an association leadership level, just about getting involved, about anything that you wanted to talk about. This is your chance. I'm catching up on chat real quick. Cool. So is there anything that we haven't touched on that you wanted to? Like, I made up Dan's imaginary list of questions to keep me on track. If there's anything that you thought we might be talking about that we haven't, that you wanted to talk about that we haven't?
No, actually, it was very refreshing. I had no idea what we were going to talk about. There was no script. There was no prepped questions. I'm here to do my very best job, and I know that all of the folks at the association, our past presidents, everybody has done their best job. Scott White is our president-elect. He'll be president in 2023, and my job is to be able to pass the baton off to Jeff to Scott running full speed. In that relay race, I use that analogy. I don't believe that I'll ever be the third leg of a 4-man relay as a president, because I never get to hand the baton off to the anchor. This job doesn't end. Our association and our commitments to the membership never ends. So I'm the second leg, and my job is to make sure I can be agile through that turn, keep my speed going at my optimum level, and make sure that I'm handing that baton off to our next president after myself. So,
all right, a couple questions are coming in. If there's one, and hello, Nobu, by the way. I haven't seen Nobu in forever.
Nobu is, I love Nobu. She's the smiling, she just makes everybody happy. She walks in a room and people glow. Thanks, Nobu.
Nobu's made it to her fair share of my things over the years, like speaking, close to 13 years, which is crazy town for me. So if there's one thing you would want to change in 2022, Nobu asks, what would that be, Adam?
That's a great question.
Big one, right?
Yeah, I don't know, Nobu, you got me off guard there. Is there something that I would want to change? I mean, I think everybody just would like to see agents treating agents better. I mean, I don't know that there's going to be a way.
Just jumped in with that at the exact moment you said it. You said it simultaneously. Dave jumped in with professionalism. Be kind to one another.
Yeah, I didn't see that because I don't have my chat window open. But I mean, but I know that's an eternal, philosophy and wish that we all have, right? But we have to set that example. It can't just be we want something. We have to be able to make that happen. And so if each one of us just tries to build up another agent in 2022, we have the ability to make some changes. We have a great association with a lot of members, and we can pay it forward out there for a lot of agents, and just be kind to the newer agents. Oh, I got to throw one more thing in too. I know this goes without saying, communication, returning phone calls, acknowledging offers when they're received. Christy and I were fortunate. We had a property that we put on the market about a week ago, and 19 offers are in on it. I take the time to acknowledge your offer as fast as I can. I mean, literally as fast as I can see that there's an offer, it goes to the seller, and that buyer's agent gets a confirmation email from me. I've got your offer. It's already been forwarded to the seller. And then I, usually will give them some kind of information as to how that process is going to proceed. But it all happens within 10 minutes of me receiving an offer. It's not that hard to do if you're willing to do it. So, just try to do that.
Dave asked a question, but I'm going to jump in a Facebook question first. Make sure we have time. And this is actually from Jessica Seguinza, who is a former Leadership Academy, potentially an inaugural Leadership Academy. I'm not sure, but I know she's gone through Leadership Academy with the association. What's the worst or best advice you've received on leadership advice you've received? I'll give you mine while you think about it.
I think the best advice I've received is first of all, stay off either side of this political agenda. I mean, we all are entitled to our own feelings, our own opinions, and our own thoughts. But when it comes to some of the stuff that I see online, it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Just it's not good for your own. I'm going to speak for myself. I don't feel it's good for my personal business to be espousing certain things. I'm going to try to be respectful to everybody, let everybody have their view, and try to keep mine close to the vest. Just show respect to everybody.
Dave said, and I'll share mine. Dave said, a true leader knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Good one.
I love that one.
Mine was again, Tim Wood, my first real estate mentor, said, hear everything, be open to hearing everything, and be careful what you listen to. And so I thought that was always good, because we have to have an open mind, bring it all in, but then we need to choose wisely, right? So that's always been one that stuck with me. Hear everything and be careful what I listen to.
Absolutely.
All right, last question then. Let's get into this one. Dave, technology is playing an ever-increasing role in transactional real estate. Why will the realtor always remain the center and most important part of the transaction? We could either have you answer this, or we could let Zillow answer it.
Right. Right.
Oh, never mind. They're not in the business anymore, so they can't answer it. So you're going to have to take over.
Since the day I got into this business 23 years ago, there was some fear put in me that we were all going to go away. In fact, I was thinking I was going to be a lender at first. And, I was told there was going to be a kiosk you would walk into in the mall, and you would just put in your information, and that's how you would get your loans. And that was 23 years ago. It scared me enough to where I said, oh, okay, I better be a real estate agent then. And then ever since then, it's, your job is not secure. There's going to be some way of replacing you. I don't think that we're ever going to be replaced. I mean, could we be augmented? Is there ways that buyers and sellers can obtain information? Absolutely, as they should. They should, try to become educated. But this is an emotional process, both buying and selling homes. And I firmly believe that people want to feel comfortable and supported in what they're doing, and they want to work with people that are educated, knowledgeable, and people that they trust. So I don't know how else to put it. I think our jobs are secure if you're willing to work hard for your people and be honest.
Completely agree. Couldn't have said it better.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Adam, thank you for being here today. For participating in chat with us, and to all CR. Thank you for especially that back end staff, the true unsung heroes, the Sabrinas, the Cassies, the Drizzlies that most of you don't get to see, who are forward facing like all of us. Thank you for wonderful 2021. Thank you for all you did during our open up, shut down in 2021. And looking forward to a fantastic 2022. Everybody who participated today, watching on Facebook, watching recordings, or at any point of the year, not even hearing this message, thank you for being on and supporting the educational efforts that these guys and gals at the association have put so much effort into providing for you guys, for you all out there.
Thank you to the association as well. I appreciate it, and I look forward to being of service to everybody.
Like all things, if you guys ever need to reach out to me, just find me on social media by Dan Smith, BYDANSMITH, or my newest channel for the last couple of months, the GSD code, THEGSD code. And I'm always there putting out good motivational, fun stuff for you guys. I don't charge for anything ever, right? So you don't have to worry about that. It's just fun stuff for you to look at, read, digest, inspire, hopefully. So thank you, everybody.
I thought there was going to be two ferns on each side. There's going to be a fern on each side of us. I was told this is between the two firms.
Oh, there you go. All right.
It's been
everybody,
fun,
thanks for
guys.
being on. Have a good one.
All right.
And
Okay,
Sabrina,
let's go
start
sell
with
some
CR.
houses. All right, see you guys.
Exactly.
All
Bye-bye.
right.